Can you spot your favorite stars after all these years? We'll show you how they look today and give you 5 seconds to guess their name. Then we'll reveal how they looked in one of their iconic roles from back in the day. Some will be easy, others might take you by surprise. Keep count of how many you recognize and share your score in the comments below. Ready? Let's get started. That's the Duke boy himself, John Schneider, whose Bo Duke made denim and Confederate flag imagery part of 80s television culture, and whose singing career paralleled his acting success throughout multiple decades. He performed many of his own driving stunts and actually learned advanced vehicle control techniques to make the General Lee chase sequences more authentic and exciting. He's 65 in 2025. You're looking at Bo's cousin Luke, Tom Wopat, whose smooth voice led to a successful Broadway career after Hazard County, and whose theatrical talents proved that TV stars could conquer live stage performances. He's also an accomplished jazz singer who has released multiple albums and performs regularly in New York cabaret venues. He's 74 in 2025. That's the motorcycle cop legend Eric Estrada, whose Ponch character made Chip's Appointment television, and whose smile became one of the most recognizable in television history during the late 70s and early 80s. He performed many of his own motorcycle stunts and actually suffered several serious injuries during filming, proving his commitment to authentic action sequences. He's 76 in 2025. Here's the tough guy William Shatner, whose Captain Kirk made space exploration aspirational and whose recent Blue Origin spaceflight proved he's still boldly going where few have gone before. He's the oldest person to travel to space and continues acting, writing, and performing with the same energy he brought to Star Trek decades ago. He's 94 in 2025. You're witnessing Miami cool itself. That's Don Johnson, whose Sonny Crockett made pastel suits and no socks the epitome of 80s fashion, and whose stubble became so iconic that grooming companies created the Don Johnson look for men worldwide. He drove his own Ferrari in many scenes and insisted on performing driving sequences himself because he claimed it made his character more authentic. He's 76 in 2025. Behold the activist actress Jane Fonda, whose Barbarella spacesuits were sewn onto her body daily and whose workout videos revolutionized home fitness in the 80s, creating an entirely new industry. She's won 2 Academy Awards and remains politically active, proving that Hollywood legends can maintain both artistic excellence and social consciousness. She's 88 in 2025. You're seeing acting perfection itself, Meryl Streep, whose accent mastery is so complete that dialect coaches study her techniques and whose 21 Oscar nominations make her the most nominated actor in Academy history. She learns entirely new languages for roles and can perfect any accent in just weeks of dedicated preparation and practice. She's 76 in 2025. That's the sci-fi queen Sigourney Weaver, whose Ripley character proved that women could be action heroes without sacrificing femininity, and whose alien performance influenced every female action star who followed. She's 6 feet tall and used her height to create physically imposing characters, proving that traditional beauty standards didn't limit strong female performances. She's 76 in 2025. Here's the adventure legend, Harrison Ford, whose Indiana Jones whip and Han Solo blaster became cultural icons, and whose reluctance to discuss his characters only increased their mystique. He's a licensed pilot who performs rescue missions in his spare time, proving that real-life heroism matches his on-screen characters perfectly. He's 83 in 2025. You're looking at the time-traveling icon Michael J. Fox, whose Marty McFly made DeLorean synonymous with time travel, and whose Parkinson's diagnosis led to groundbreaking research funding and awareness. He's raised over $1 billion for Parkinson's research and maintains his sense of humor despite health challenges, inspiring millions with his resilience. He's 64 in 2025. That's the dude himself, Jeff Bridges, whose laid-back performances seem effortless but result from intense character preparation, and whose photography skills are gallery-worthy when he's not acting. He takes behind-the-scenes photos on every film set using vintage cameras and has published several books of his on-set photography work. He's 76 in 2025. That's the comedy legend Chevy Chase, whose pratfall skills on Saturday Night Live made physical comedy an art form, and whose National Lampoon's Vacation films defined family dysfunction humor for generations. He was the original Weekend Update anchor and the first SNL cast member to leave the show for a film career, proving that risk-taking could lead to movie stardom. He's 82 in 2025. You're looking at the action icon Chuck Norris, whose roundhouse kicks became internet legend, and whose Walker Texas Ranger made him a television staple for nearly a decade of Saturday night viewing. He holds black belts in multiple martial arts disciplines and performed all his own fight choreography well into his 60s, proving that dedication to physical training creates career longevity. He's 85 in 2025. Witness the child prodigy Jodie Foster, whose Yale education proved that Hollywood stars could be brilliant intellectuals and whose directing skills behind the camera match her acting talents in front of it. She speaks fluent French and often acts in French-language films, bringing authentic linguistic skill to international productions that most American actors can't match. She's 63 in 2025. You're seeing the beloved Hot Lips herself, Loretta Sweet, whose Major Houlihan brought humor and heart to MSH, and whose character evolution from antagonist to beloved ensemble member showcased brilliant acting range. She's an accomplished painter whose artwork has been exhibited in galleries nationwide, proving that creativity flows through multiple mediums. She passed away in 2025. That's the Scream Queen Adrienne Barbeau, whose horror film roles made her a cult favorite and whose sultry voice led to successful voiceover career spanning decades. She performed many of her own stunts in fog-filled swamp scenes and claims that her theater training helped her maintain composure during the most terrifying filming conditions. She's 80 in 2025. Here's the rugged rebel Nick Nolte, whose gravelly voice and weathered appearance made him perfect for tough guy roles, and whose range extended from action to comedy to serious drama. He's known for intense method acting preparation and often lives as his characters for weeks before filming begins, creating performances that feel genuinely lived in. He's 84 in 2025. You're witnessing pure charisma. That's Burt Reynolds, whose Smokey and the Bandit charm made Trans Ams the coolest cars on the road, and whose mustache became as iconic as his infectious laugh. He performed most of his own stunts throughout his career, and once broke his tailbone during filming, but continued shooting anyway. He passed away in 2018. That's the disco king John Travolta, whose Saturday Night Fever moves made polyester suits fashionable, and whose grease proved he could sing and dance as well as act. He's a licensed pilot who owns multiple aircraft, including a Boeing 707 that he flies himself, making him one of Hollywood's most accomplished aviators. He's 71 in 2025. You're looking at the Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, whose Halloween knife dodging launched a franchise and whose comedy skills in Trading Places proved she had incredible range beyond horror. She's openly discussed her past struggles with addiction and plastic surgery, using her platform to promote body positivity and authentic aging in Hollywood. She's 67 in 2025. That's the distinguished leading man, James Brolin, whose square-jawed good looks made him a television staple, and whose marriage to Barbra Streisand created one of Hollywood's most enduring power couples. He's also an accomplished director and producer who works behind the camera as much as in front of it. He's 85 in 2025. The final star, that's the sophisticated beauty Sybil Shepherd, whose Maddie Hayes made detective work look glamorous and whose Memphis origins brought Southern charm to Hollywood sophistication. She was discovered at a beauty pageant, but refused to be typecast as just a pretty face, choosing complex dramatic roles that showcased her serious acting abilities. She's 75 in 2025. How many did you recognize? Tell us your score in the comments. If this brought back memories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow fan of classic TV and film. These stars didn't just entertain us, they created characters that became part of our lives, making us believe in heroes, laugh at ourselves, and dream bigger dreams. From Hazard County to galaxies far away, they proved that great performances create timeless memories. We'll see you in the next one.